moon landing was faked on Jupiter. Yesterday, the Mariners were defeated by the Phillies by a score of 12-7. Unfortunately, Logan Gilbert gave up 6 runs in 2 innings of work. I believe it actually was 2 1/3. This is an A&W cream soda. Today, the Mariners face the Phillies again with Bryce Miller set to make his first start in the big leagues in about 8 weeks after missing a little over a month with right elbow inflammation that looked like it may need some sort of treatment, and he got the treatment, which ended up being some sort of injections that I'm not fully understanding how they worked, but yeah, we have for the first time all season the projected starting 5 coming into the season will be the starting 5 as of today. Logan Evans went on the 15-day IL with right elbow inflammation after his last start, and thankfully Bryce Miller was ready to take that place. Otherwise, we more than likely would have had to put somebody on the 60-day IL and call somebody up. Or potentially move Emerson Hancock up. Again, despite the fact that Hancock has had some pretty difficult starts this season. Hancock and Evans have been splitting time as the 6th and 7th starters this year. Evans currently sits as number 6 with Hancock as number 7, which is quite astonishing considering that Hancock made the team out of spring training, and then after his first start, which was a absolute horrible start, got optioned down to AAA Tacoma. The truth of the matter is, Emerson Hancock will very likely not be a Mariner next season unless we do something with somebody like Luis Castillo or something of the else happens, as he is out of options. So the only way to move him off of the 40-man roster would be a trade, outright relief, or designating for assignment, or not tendering him at the end of the season. And I have a feeling that we're not going to tender him. Airplane. Even more proof that the Earth is a trapezoid. Airplanes just don't work on a round Earth. A couple of other things going on. I had my MRI yesterday at 6:15 p.m. I arrived at about 5:50 p.m., checked in. They gave me something to fill out. I filled it out, and they were like, "Do you have any piercings?" And I was like, "Well, yes, I do. I have ear piercings, but I've removed them." And so due to that, they were still just like, "We have to double check." And I was like, "It's all gone." And then before you get to enter the MRI room, they wand you. And this is for your and the tech's safety, because if you go in with something that is magnetic, you will end up probably dying. Because there's a good chance that they won't be able to stop the MRI machine in time, or potentially won't even actually know what's happening in time for them to stop the MRI machine. So they make sure that there's that safety. There are multiple things that say that you cannot go into an MRI. We've talked about, they've talked about those in the past. MRIs are very, very loud. I listened to 90s alt rock, which was pretty cool, in the MRI, and the MRI machine was incredibly loud. I took a Xanax beforehand that was prescribed by my doctor, and it allowed me to actually relax a little bit and just get into the MRI and just let it happen. It took about 30 minutes. Unfortunately, the initial position I was in, I had a little bit of a hard time moving, or not moving, just due to the fact that I was in a little bit of pain, so we readjusted. But with that, 30 minutes later, came out, got my ride home, came home, and I checked the Mariners score, because I was like, it can't be that bad. It was 6-0 in the 4th. It was 6-0 in the 4th, and I was like, okay, that's not good. And then the Mariners came back, the offense came back. Mitch Garver hit a home run at some point. And I was just like, I'm not watching this. Hello, Bentley. Are you Officer Bentley? Are you Officer Bentley, the one who's always dealing with Andy Ditch? Because if you are, you must have been so happy seeing him get arrested in Cleveland, and then seeing him go to Erie. The whole situation with Andy Ditch is just, like, it doesn't make any sense. Hello, Yulia. How are you? My favorite thing about yesterday, though, was that I got to get Wendy's. Hello, Vikings #1 fan. Aren't you glad Aaron Rodgers didn't come to your team? Because, like, imagine if, Brett Favre, then Aaron Rodgers both come after, going from the Packers to the Jets, then to you, and then throw a game-losing interception in the NFC Championship game, and then defraud Mississippi from welfare. I'm glad. I don't know how Rodgers is going to be this year in Pittsburgh. It's going to be weird seeing Rodgers in Pittsburgh. Flacco's back in Cleveland as the starter. Daniel Jones got named the Colts starter literally like 2 hours ago. Tom Grossi did a video about it. Pretty interesting. That Daniel Jones is better than Anthony Richardson. That just tells you how bad Anthony Richardson is. Hello, 415. How are you? Anthony Richardson is just so bad. Randomizer. And I think the Colts are going to try to get... Hello, maybe like Mercury. Hello, everybody. Yeah, we're hanging out here outside. We got the birds. We got... No bees recently. Actually, I lied. There's one off to my right, kind of just hanging out at the fence. I think just looking for some flowers. There's some buttercups. Yeah, I think the Vikings are definitely... I think the Vikings are probably the winners in the NFC North. I think the Vikings are probably the winner in the NFC North. And then, obviously, once the playoffs happen, anything can happen. But I see you guys getting at least to the second or third round. And as the problem is, because the first and second seed don't get byes, only the first seed. Only the first seed gets a bye now. Anything can happen. You can get upset by the 7 seed. Then you go in the next round, you could get upset. And then you go into the championship game, and if the 1 seed, won their game, you played an extra game this season, which, yeah, I get. And you're the 2 seed, and they get the extra rest. And I understand it. I would expand the NFL to 34 teams. Hello, Bentley again. I would expand the NFL to 34 teams and make it so 8 in each conference got in. Problem with that is we'd probably have even worse quarterback and O-line play everywhere. Rob Manfred said on Sunday Night Baseball we're looking at expansion for the MLB, potentially even in a way that's going to make it so that TV's better. He was talking about how sometimes you get Anaheim, Boston on TV late at night. And that's kind of annoying for the East Coast fans. Buffalo and Indy. I'm expecting Buffalo to win the AFC East again. Although the Patriots are looking pretty good. Tua, we got to see if he can stay healthy for a season. And then the Jets are the Jets. A lot of stuff. You don't expect the Jets to do well ever. They are just like... But Russell Wilson's the Giants quarterback? Where did Wilson sign this year? I have no idea what's going on in New York. I just don't expect them to do well. I just don't expect either New York team to do well. And with Indy, I don't expect Daniel Jones to lead us to the playoffs. B is now under the table. And it is flying away. And it's looking for flowers, and it didn't find any. How very sad. Oh dear. It's now by my phone, and I'm not comfortable with this. I don't like when bees come near me. I've never been stung by one. Your favorite team is the Falcons? They're in an interesting spot, because what the hell are you going to do with Kirk Cousins? Why is he there? What is the purpose of Kirk Cousins being on the Atlanta Falcons? Other than to just take a shitload of money from Arthur Blank, who apparently also founded Home Depot. Pretty interesting there. I'm not 100% sure who's the CEO of Home Depot right now. I worked at Home Depot about a decade ago, and there's been a lot of changes since I worked there. Back when I worked there, every department had its own department supervisor. You had a store manager, 4 to 5 assistant store managers, and all that. And now they got rid of the department heads who did one department and made them do the 2 or 3 departments. They created something called the customer experience manager. And then they've got a few ASMs, and then obviously you got a store manager. Every store has to have a store manager. But yeah, they're taking away a lot of. They changed a lot. The whole economy has changed a lot recently, especially with just the way that the world's going. We'll see how things go with the with the tariffs, with next year's economy, with the midterm elections next year. Who knows what's going to happen? I genuinely don't know what's going to happen with all of that. Because we could have an economy that goes to the shitter, or we could have an economy that we fix. And there's a lot that's got to work on through both monetary and fiscal policy. And unfortunately, fiscal policy, the policy that Congress sets, is not doing very well. And then the Fed has to react to that, and the monetary policy has to react to it, and it ain't great. It just ain't great. Why is that bee so dumb and still here? It's 81 degrees today. 20-degree increase in temperature from yesterday. I'm hoping that there's no thunder and lightning on Sunday, because that would suck. Because I have an outside event on Sunday. I have a few things going on. Today's Tuesday. Or not Sunday, Saturday. Today's Tuesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, I got shit going on. Or don't got shit going on. Friday, a little bit. And then Saturday. Saturday's a long day for me. I'm going to make a Target run in the morning. Thanks, Kush. I'm going to make a Target run in the morning. Check out a few things before the event. Probably try to play some Magic the Gathering. With some buddies of mine up at school. And then hang out at the event that we're going to. And see how that goes. It's all right. I'll have it when I can have it. It's legal here, so I can go down to the dispensary and just buy it. I can pay $25 for 10 edibles, which is actually... Hello, Mediterranean, which is actually not a bad price at all. They last me about 10 days, so $25. I actually don't think the Earth is flat. I think it's a trapezoid. In fact, I don't think it's a trapezoid. I know it's a trapezoid. That's why the channel's called The Earth is a Trapezoid. I'm working on this whole presentation for everybody. Yeah, they're they're 10s. They're 10s. The key evidence, well, you see, the key evidence is the fact that Ferrari exists and giraffes exist. Because giraffes with those long necks, we know they came from the bottomlands, from Antarctica. And with that, they evolved their long necks to see over the bottom of the trapezoid so that they could go. And then they were like, you know what? Africa seems way cooler than this place filled with ice. So they went to Africa. Just they're long-necked now. So now we got long-necked giraffes. The hell was that noise? It almost sounded like somebody was crashing, but it might not have been that. The bank on the corner is getting remodeled. Not 100% sure what they're doing, because they dug a hole underneath the ATM. Like, there's an ATM in the back, and they just dug a fucking hole underneath it. And I'm like, you know, if I didn't know that there was construction going on, I'd call the cops, because, like, you're trying to rob a bank or something. It's one of those weird things that just goes on and on and on and on and on. Another airplane. I started in 2021. I can hear the airplane. I don't know if you guys can hear it. The noise canceling that the iPhone can do might have pushed it out, but I can hear it. It's going that way. Away. It's a takeoff. My house is kind of in the flight. Not every flight passes over, but it's kind of cool being near the flight path. Just because you can look up in the sky and be like, oh, that plane, and then look at what the plane is, and then go on Flight Radar and be like, oh, it's that plane. I was actually, back in April when I ran the convention, my drivers were out, and they were like, what's going on? Where's the plane? And I had live ATC on my phone, and I texted one of my drivers, cleared ILS approach, or no, it was cleared RNAV approach, runway 4. And they were like, what? Clear to land. And then I texted back, clear to land, runway 4. Monitor ground. And then I monitored ground. They get the ground real quick here. It's a small airport. And only runway 4 and 22 actually exist here right now, because the other runway is being repaved. They might have finished, but yeah, back then it was just 4 or 22. Got to think about some of that stuff going on with Andy Ditch down in Erie. I can't believe somebody found him at a Quick Trip. Somebody found him at a Quick Trip. He was leaving Google reviews of his home care homes, saying that bad things about them, which didn't make any sense, but it is what it is. What else happened with Andy Ditch? He was screaming at Nicole, his former home health aide, who actually got fired for bringing her kid into Royal, and then Andy was like, that's age discrimination. Everybody was like, no, Andy, you can't have a kid in your bedroom. You're a 40-year-old adult. It's a whole thing. The Andy Ditch lore is so deep and so wild, and I've watched so much of it over the last 3 months. And it's just so wild, and I don't even understand how it happened. Part of it was the cops where he used to live kind of enabled a lot of the shit. Ant. The weather's kind of nice for being 81 degrees out. I'm genuinely surprised by that, because usually when it's 81, it's hot as fuck. But I think the humidity kind of went down from what it's been. Last week, Monday, so what was that, 8 days ago, when I was at the fair, it was so hot. Like, so hot, I thought I was going to die. And I was just like, this is ridiculous. And I was drinking water or something every 15, 20 minutes. I drank ices, I drank root beer, I drank water. I had noodles from the noodle place. It was delicious. I love noodles. There were soba noodles, which are apparently gluten-free, but also delicious. And one of my favorite things about the fair was that it was $3 food day. So I got to try a bunch of different things. There were sample-size ices. It was a sample-size soba noodle with teriyaki chicken. Unfortunately, no vegetables, because one broccoli would have taken up the whole sample-size thing. But yeah. Austin, talk about that on the Battle Pass, which would be in my link tree in the description. It's $6.99 a month. Which actually isn't bad, because I get $5.59 of that a month. So if I could get 1,000 people to sign up, I'd make $5,000 or $5,500 per month, which would be a lot. Of course, I'd have to do something about taxes with that. $5,500 per month is about $60,000 per year. So we're talking probably about an effective tax rate of about, including Social Security, 22%. So 220 out of every 1,000. So yeah, 220 out of every 1,000 would be gone, which would be 220, 440, 660, 880, 10, 1,100, which would be about $1,100 a month, which would come out in taxes, which would be, what's that? That's like 12,000 a year in taxes, but that's also not counting deductions, and the standard deduction would take 12,000 or no, 18,000 off now. They added another 6,000, which is pretty nice, that the standard deduction went up, because it allows you to keep a little bit more of your money. Unfortunately, some of the tax rates have gone up in the lower tax brackets, which is not great. Thanks, Albert. It's been a pretty good day today. But yeah, if I could make 5,000 a month from just anything, that would be amazing. 60,000 a year. 60,000 a year would be amazing. Iowa, you can do a lot with 60,000. But they say that if you want to do content creation full time, you gotta make 60,000 plus a year, or $5,000 per month, in order for it to actually work out, and that's post-tax or pre-tax. But I'd rather make 5,000 a month post-tax, so probably about 7,600 per month. There's a lot to think about with that. And my thinking is, if I ever start making a decent amount of money, I'm probably going to not spend all of it, so that way I can keep it. Like, there's a few things I want, like a model train set, which would be really nice. Yeah, I think 7,600 is about where you'd be at. 76 or 7,800 is what you need gross to net 5,000, somewhere around there, just because of Social Security, Medicare, and what else? Regular taxes, and then state taxes too. If you're in a state where you have to pay those always get people. Like, I don't know what I'd do if I had $1 million. I don't think I'd be able to spend $1 million even in a year. The Earth is not a cube. It is a trapezoid. It's a cube. It's almost a cube, but it's trapezoidal. The sides aren't the same shape, or aren't the same size, so it can't be a cube. It still has 6 faces, though. Is that another airplane? I can't tell if that's another airplane. Airplanes are fun. Always love seeing airplanes just go by the house. I've not seen any evidence that it's round. I've never seen any evidence. Can you show me a picture of the Earth being round? I've never seen any. I've never seen any evidence that the Earth is round. Absolutely never seen any evidence the Earth is round. I've not seen any evidence that it's flat either. I know it's three-dimensional. Like, a lot of people get mad when you say it's not three-dimensional, like the flat earthers. Like, it is a three-dimensional object, but it's a trapezoidal prism. There's no such thing as a sphere. People try to say there's spheres. I've never seen a natural sphere. You're telling me something that doesn't exist in nature. Yeah, I have Google. I don't trust it. It's part of the Illuminati. Google is part of the Freemason Illuminati that's trying to control everybody. Google is part of the Freemason Illuminati that's trying to control everybody. The ocean doesn't end. The Earth is a trapezoid. It goes around the trapezoid. There's no water. Well, there is water in space. There's no such thing as round. The earth can't be round because round doesn't exist. And I'm sick and tired of people being like, well, the earth is round. It's not. Or like, use Google. It's not. No, Google is part of the evil Illuminati designed to control you. No, basketballs are not round. Basketballs are not round. Basketballs are not even a circle. Basketballs aren't even real. You think you're watching basketball? No, you're just watching an American psyop to try to make people think we have good athletes by showing people LeBron James. I don't even think LeBron's real. Like, there's no way. LeBron probably got... I don't think LeBron is real. The wheels on the bus go cube, 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 cube. You have a basketball, but you're a Freemason? Exactly. The Freemasons created LeBron in a laboratory to try to make it so people would think that America had good athletes and that America was the best at all the sports in the world. Exactly. And like, we all know LeBron is evil. And like, that makes sense because the Freemasons created LeBron. Yeah, I got a bachelor's degree and I'll have a master's degree next week. Or next month, next year. And I know that the earth is a trapezoid. I've proven the earth is a trapezoid on numerous occasions. And I'm sick and tired of people saying that it's not. I've proven it's a trapezoid. All you got to do is look at the giraffes that come from the bottomlands of Antarctica. They used to have short-ass necks. Now they're in Africa because they was looking over the bottom of the trapezoid from the bottomlands. And now they're in Africa with long necks. And with those giraffes in Africa with the long necks, you were told it was a triangle? I know that there's some people who've been told that it's a triangle, but people lie about the earth being round because it's good for the economy. And we know that anything that's good for the economy, they will do. They lie about anything just to make the economy better. They just look and be like, oh yeah, if we just lie to everybody and say the earth is round, we can convince people to fly on these airplanes that aren't even safe. I told you the earth doesn't end. I'm not saying the earth is flat. I'm saying it's a trapezoid. Nothing in the universe is round. You look up at Mars and you tell me that's round? No, it's a freaking octagon. You look at the sun, it's a hexagon. There's nothing in this solar system that's round. I'm tired of looking at people saying, Brian Schottenheimer, you mean for the Cowboys? Yeah, that's probably not going to work out. I feel like the Cowboys are going to go 0-17, especially if Dak gets hurt. If Dak gets hurt, the Cowboys aren't going to score a touchdown for like 3 consecutive weeks. Hello again, Bentley. Yeah, if Dak gets hurt, the Cowboys are screwed because I don't think Brian Schottenheimer can coach offense. It's just one of those things where have I seen the pyramid in Nigeria? I haven't. I'll have to go take a look at that. I'll have to go take a look at that pyramid. I'm not a flat earther. I am the queen of the Trapezoid Earth Society. Do you not understand what the Trapezoid Earth Society is? We believe in multiple things, and one of those things is that the earth is a trapezoid. Greetings from Chile. You saw the Eiffel Tower from Chad. I didn't know you could see the Eiffel Tower from Chad in Africa all the way in France. That's pretty cool. The Eiffel Tower actually wasn't supposed to be a permanent structure. It was supposed to be taken down after the 1898 World's Fair. The Earth is round, and one of my cousins is an astronaut and been to space to see the pictures. I don't believe that. I believe your cousin is an astronaut. Have I been communicating with aliens? Yeah, I've been communicating with the aliens. The aliens said that Obama never actually won the 2008 election. They said that the only reason he won the 2008 election was because they made it so, because they wanted to destroy America, because they knew that if Obama won in 2008 and 2012, that Donald Trump will win in 2016. And then that would mean the downfall of America around 2028. But always yeah, but it also had a lot of stuff going on with Ferrari. They had to screw over Sebastian Vettel. It was this whole thing. And now they're screwing over Lewis Hamilton. It's this whole other thing. But the aliens just want to destroy America because they think if they destroy America... Hello from Romania. Hello. That if they destroy America, what they can do is they can take over the earth. So the aliens know that they got to destroy two things. And the first thing is America. And once they destroy America, after that, they got to destroy the Vatican. And they can do that. But America's got to get destroyed first. That's why they made an American Pope. Pope Leo is an American Pope so that they... If you want to take me out on a date, you got to pay for all the food and pay me $250. But yeah, Pope Leo, the aliens made sure that Pope Leo made sure that you see, a mystery box could be anything. A mystery box could be anything. It could even be an alien that takes over the Vatican. And we know that the Vatican knows that there's aliens. The Vatican has known that there's been aliens for the last... I'm not disrespecting the Pope. I'm just telling you that the Vatican has been in cahoots with aliens since about 1623. So before there even was an America. Before there even was America, yeah, 1623. The aliens came to Earth first in 1620. And what happened, they were like investigating, trying to see what was going on. They were like, well, there's a few things that are kind of powerful. They looked at the Protestants and they were like, okay, cool. But like, you're just going to have that America thing going on over there. The real power is over here in the Vatican. So we're going to go and we're going to talk to the Pope. And we're going to talk and see about who can be Pope. Yeah, there's trees behind me. One's an apple tree, one's a pear tree. That's right. And the aliens do believe in the Lord your God. No. The pyramids wasn't built in 1620. What? There were. We harvested a bunch of them. We harvested a bunch of them. It was pretty cool to harvest them. We got to eat some apples and pears. Why did the aliens believe in the Abrahamic religion in 1620? Well, it's because the aliens actually work with the Abrahamic God. They've been working with him since about 22,000 BC. They've been working with him since about 22,000 BC. You know, they've come down. He's gone through many names, including like, Enlil, and then like, Adonai, all that. And then he came down and Jesus was an alien. If the aliens believe, why don't you? Because there's different aliens. Like there was different aliens on Mount Olympus in Greece, and I work with those aliens a lot. Those are some really good aliens. The aliens on Mount Olympus were really great. Other than Zeus, because like he was worse than Captain Kirk and just trying to get everybody pregnant. Like every other 5 minutes, he was getting either somebody else or himself pregnant. Man could not go like man could not go more than 8 minutes without getting himself or somebody else pregnant, and it was just like not good. It was not good at all for anybody. We had a whole situation there. Thank you. My sources, I talk to the aliens. I talk to aliens all the time. They're great. I love talking to the aliens. Would I like a bus ticket to the psych ward? No. Nah. Nah, the psych ward would just be like, yeah, we know. We know all about the aliens. Last time I was there, where did I get my glasses from? Actually, Target. I don't even like Rocky Horror. It was. Mount Olympus absolutely was. I'm thinking about re-dyeing my hair, potentially purple or green. There's no such thing as round. There's nothing round in nature. I'm tired of people. Yeah, Trump needs to release the Epstein files. No, the CIA is not onto me because I am the CIA. I am the CIA. I invented the CIA. I'm 8,000 years old and I invented the CIA. You know why I invented the CIA? I invented the CIA so that the CIA could work with the aliens. Because we needed somebody in America. We needed somebody in America. I mean, there are people who believe the earth is square, but we know that it is actually a trapezoid. We know that, and they tell you that it's round because it's good for the economy so that they can sell more maps and they can sell globes. And obviously, every time you sell a globe, you're adding to the GDP. And because if you couldn't sell a globe, you couldn't add to the GDP. You couldn't add to the GDP, and it's very important to add to the GDP. The GDP is the most important thing one of the most important things in the world. Obviously, the Vatican is the most important thing in the world. A cotton candy machine. No, everybody thought the Earth was a hexagon, but that was a reflection of the sun. The sun is a hexagon. We were confused. We were confused because it was a reflection. Do the astronauts? Yeah, astronauts exist, but they're paid to lie about the shape of the Earth. Why do they lie about the shape of the Earth? Because, like I said, it's good for the economy. It's really good for the economy, and the economy is the second most important thing in the world behind the Vatican, because the Vatican is what makes sure that everything works on Earth. The Earth isn't flat. I'm not trying to prove that the Earth's flat, because I don't believe in the flat Earth. I'm the Trapezoid Earth. The astronauts get paid millions and millions of dollars to lie about the shape of the Earth. Like millions and millions of dollars. That's why the NASA budget's so big. The NASA budget only needs to be like $18,000 a year. They just got to pay one asshole to put some stuff and photograph some stuff. Thank you. The Earth being round improves the economy because you can sell more maps. You can sell more globes. You can sell more just stuff. You can sell airplane tickets that don't make any sense. They don't actually move you in an airplane. They transport you via a transporter. Every time you go on an airplane, you die. And then when you die, you come back to life in your new place. Yeah, NASA only needs about $18,000 a year to hire one guy. But because the economy is so important and we need the number to go up, we got to keep increasing the budget. Yeah, I don't go on planes because every time you go on a plane and you die, they're transporters like from Star Trek. They are transporters like from Star Trek. What's on the dark side of the moon? The dark side of the moon, that's where some aliens are. There's some aliens there, and it's very important to make sure that we talk about those aliens because those are the aliens that are going to come down to the Vatican in 2028 after the whole United States of America collapse thing. And what's going to happen here is the aliens are going to go ahead and take off and take over the Vatican. They're going to come down, they're going to take over the Vatican, and it's going to be very, very important that they actually get on take over the Vatican because as they do that, they're going to make sure that the Bible is written correctly because they were there for the whole thing. They were there. They were helping God. They were helping Adonai the whole time, making sure that he did all those things. Why do aliens have beef with the Pope? Because the Pope hasn't been working from the proper Bible for about 200 years. Yeah, the Pope hasn't been working. How do you get to the Vatican? They're going to come down in their spaceship. Would the Vatican being taken over by aliens affect GTA 6? No. No, I don't think the Vatican being taken over by aliens would affect GTA 6. I think that the Vatican being taken over by aliens is only going to affect the Bible, and we're going to get the final, definitive, proper version of the Bible written in the original alienese. And they're going to teach all of us alienese so that we can actually read the Bible and know the truth about how the earth was created, why the Israelites were the chosen people. How do I get to the Vatican? I'll walk. Why should you believe me? Because I'm the world's foremost expert in everything. There's nothing I don't know. And if people say I don't know something, they're wrong. I just walked to the Vatican. No, it's a trapezoid. Great. There's people in the other yard. Uh, May of 1945. Yeah, there's people in the other yard, and I don't want to deal with it.